Everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. Take 2 on this video. I tried to do it a little bit ago and realized I didn't have it going, so I only had the second half. So I'm going to start over and hopefully improve on my first one. I wanted to show you a fun little idea today that you can use for your December daily, like I'm doing. I have a wool ball and one of these rose ones that I ordered from an Etsy vendor. And I think those are super cute. But what I'm going to focus on today is how to make this wool ball and the pom-pom ball. So you can make them in colors that go with your planner or your notebook or your Bible or your December daily. So this is mine from Stacy Loves the Word, and I thought this was a fun Christmas theme. It's a little bit different than maybe what we think of with a more berry color instead of bright red. But I think it's super pretty, so I wanted to make bookmarks to go with it to mark different parts of the journal as I'm going through it for easy reference. So what I want to do is have this gray, this berry color, and the creamy white. So I'm going to show you, and actually a green as well. I might take out my gray one. I had made that earlier. These are super simple. I first saw this on Talks from the Heart with Robin. So I also want to clarify, I'm not trying to come across as an original on this. It's just a cute craft. And since I have 2 to show you, I thought it'd be fun to show both quickly in one place. The reason also, another reason, I think these are super fun is they would make great teacher's gifts. Or any kind of gift you need, just a little something for somebody at the holidays. You can cut out some cute cardstock, and that doesn't match, but you'll get the idea. You could put it on like that. Or, you know, have 3 or 4 of them on a card and stick that in like, you know, I don't have one in front of me, but a cellophane bag that would fit. You could tie it at the top or tie it up here or adhere it with washi tape. And give that to your favorite teacher or, you know, whatever, whoever you need a holiday gift for that's just a little token of friendship and not like a big deal. Or also stocking stuffers. When you use your X-Acto knife, don't do like I did and slide towards your finger and cut your thumb. I did that the other day. It wasn't too bad, but it did sting for a while. I am just slicing in here deep enough to insert, watch my fingers, the paper clip. Now sometimes it's hard to see where the slit is because the wool ball will close up. So I'm going to squeeze it. Oh gosh, my blade fell out. That's weird. I have to tighten that. Don't need it right now, fortunately. It makes like a little smile or a little slit of some kind in there. Keep it pinched so you can see where to put your glue, otherwise it'll close up and it'll be really hard to find it. When I made the first one, I did that and I couldn't find the original slice, and so I just had to put 2 in there. Okay, now I've got that pinched like that. I'm going to take this end of the paper clip so that the 2 clip ends can go over my journal page, my Bible page, whatever. So if you're new at this, there's 1 loop and then 2 loops. Put the single loop in, insert it right in there where you did that slice with an X-Acto knife, and then just kind of pinch it shut. While that's holding a minute, I'm just going to close up this glue so it doesn't dry. And then take a pencil or, you know, whatever little doodad you have handy. I'm trying to find what I used earlier. I'm going to just spread that glue around a little bit. So excuse me a moment as I reach across the screen. Here I've got just this little pen. So I'm just going to spread that glue around. And I'm pinching it a little bit. I think if you have a large clasp of some sort, here's my big pile, you could pinch this shut. I have these bulldog ones, but they don't, yeah, see, it's just not wide enough. And I've tried to use this kind of clip, but it kind of pops off. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to pinch it with my fingers for a minute or 2. Whoops, so sorry. Don't mean to make you seasick. And what I like to do is just maybe put it on a piece of cardstock, a little piece of cardboard from the back of a notepad or something, and just kind of hold that on there while it dries. And then, see, I'm just securing that, pushing down a little, and I'm going to just lean that ball side down on my counter here behind where I have the camera. And I'm going to let that glue set a little bit. And it should be fine. I would say, though, if you have a clasp that you can pinch that shut for a little bit, that'll keep you from getting the little bit of gaping element that I have going here. Generally, you're not going to see that, but it looks really neat when the, like this one is so much better. You can't see where I cut, well, maybe you can see a little, it's darker. You can't see it as much. So try to pinch those shut so you don't get the slice in there as widely. However, not a big deal if it does show, because it's going to be in a book like this. You know, you're not going to really see the bottom of the clip. So the other kind of clip I want to show you is this little pom-pom. I've heard people call them poms. I've heard them called pom-pons. I mean, I don't know. All kinds of names. But basically a little wool or yarn ball. Could be made of wool. So make a nice size clip. This is way more than you need, but I learned when I made my video earlier that it's harder to work with a shorter piece. And when I was trying to film it earlier, I had the piece way too short. So what I did is just loop the yarn through the middle tines of the fork. Now you can see this is quite long, and I really don't need it that long, so I'm going to just trim off some of that. So you don't even have to waste all that like I did, but just make something maybe about the length of the fork so you have enough room to work with it, and you can trim it down and out of sight later. So these two pieces are just going to be left alone for now. I have this bright yellow yarn. If you're like me, if you're like my good friend Joanna, who does everything with yarn, you'll have a huge yarn supply at your house. But even if you don't and you want to make these, it's not expensive to buy a small thing of yarn. And this is a fun, easy, quick project. So if you're just feeling a little creative and need to get the creative juices out of your system so you can clean your dusty house. I don't know anybody that needs to do that. Haha. This will get that out of you, and then you can get back to work. So here we go. I'm holding this piece here just to hold it secure. Don't worry about the piece sticking out. Wrap it several times. The more you wrap, the fuller your yarn pom-pom will be. You can use any kind of yarn. I'm going to probably do about 25. So I'm just going to count as I go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 24, 25-ish. Added a little to that. Maybe I'll do a few more. You know, it doesn't matter. When you're working on this size of a thing, though, if it gets too bulky, it probably won't be real easy to work with. So you can just set that down. You can trim that close to the fork, but it doesn't really matter where you trim it because it's all going to get cut down anyway. Okay, so now you see that I've wrapped the yarn. I'm going to try to keep it tight on there. Pinch it a little bit there. Here's the original piece. Here's the back side and the front where I put that on the bottom before wrapping. That might be confusing the matter. Let me get that piece out of the way. So all you do is put a piece through the center tine and then pull up your bottom piece. This is how I like to do it, so I can set the fork down. And my friend, like I mentioned earlier, Joanna from Joanna Crochets, did this. She taught me how to do this. So take that and tie that, or kind of get it going, I would say, like this. Sorry, fork's moving. It doesn't matter if it stays all the way tight, but then slide it off the fork. So now you have something that looks sort of like a bow tie, maybe, if you put it like that. Anyway, I'm going to try to get this really, really tight because I don't want that center yarn piece showing when it's done. I've got it as tight as I can do on my own without calling in a child or two to help me. Actually, I don't have children, I have teenagers and adults. Okay, tightening that. Okay, now I want to keep this long for now. So tie it, maybe knot it again for safe measure there. And then we kind of have a little piece that kind of looks like a little yellow pumpkin. See? So this part we will tie on later. For now, we're going to use that to grip our little ball piece. Let me find my good scissors. I'm going to try this one, and I might try this one. This is one I got. It's a Fiskars brand, and it just releases on its own. So if you're doing a lot of cutting, that works handy. I might start with that. I'm going to cut now all these loops. I'm going to try to hold that tight. It's kind of funny, it's popping up there. I'm going to trim that. That guy's giving me trouble today. Go through and cut your yarn loops on each side of where you tied it. The idea is that we just don't want the loops in it anymore, so we're, if you can see that, I hope, we're cutting through about where that would have been bent around the fork, you know, kind of halfway around on each side. And we're going to end up with a little funny, sloppy-ish looking. There. Okay, so, oops, there's a few more. You can see the fold there. And I'm just cutting at the center of the places where the yarn is folded. Okay, so just to show you, I have my tied area. I am using this sort of like a little handle to grasp the pom-pom. You can make it where it's much smaller than this, like this one. I like the more compact look. I don't want a big fluffy thing sticking out of a small planter. That could be fun, really however you like it. For me, I prefer a smaller compact size, but you can do it how you prefer. I'm going to first trim some of these pieces that are, you know, a little bit longer than the others, but at this point, no need to worry about being too precise. Now, if you liked it like that, you could stop. And you have a little yarn pom-pom. Let me get my scraps out of the way. But what you can do now, if you like this fluffier like this one is, you can kind of see the difference. Here's more just a yarny looking pom-pom, and here it's a little more brushed looking. I cut this pretty short, like giving a haircut or trimming a bush. I went pretty far down when I made this one, so it still has kind of a rough look. It almost looks like shag carpet, or not shag, but just a regular carpet, where when you look closely you can still see the twisted fibers, but the outside's maybe a little more fluffy. That's how I did that, because I liked it a little bit closer. So you can stop with this, you can brush it and trim close, or you can just fluff it up and leave it fluffy. So I'm going to grip this tightly so that my little pieces don't pull out, and I'm going to lightly brush it with a pet brush. I picked this up at the hardware store. It was, I don't know, $3.97 or something. You could probably get it cheaper at a discount or like a Dollar Tree type store. I just happened to be at Menards and I picked it up there. It wasn't too bad. And I'd been wanting to get one, so I thought instead of shopping around, because I'd already looked a few places, I just picked it up there, which was fine. Worked well. So I am just kind of like brushing this little pom-pom. Makes me think of one of those little cute yellow chicks. Anyway, you can see it's getting kind of a halo of frizz. And that's giving it the fluffy look, which is almost, you know, kind of, not yet, but almost looking more smooth like the wool balls. But this is supposed to have a different look. And I think the fluffy look is fine. So anywhere where I see the coiled fibers, I'm kind of brushing through. Now you're probably not going to like that halo frizz. I mean, that looks kind of silly. But I still want to brush it more, so we're not going to worry about that yet. Now, I think that might be good. Makes my fingers tired. Okay, right in here, I think I have some pieces that didn't get trimmed. So I'm going to go back and cut those, so they'll fluff up like the rest. I'll take that and fluff those up. I think the rest looks pretty good. Seems like there might be a piece or two. I can't really tell. I'm just kind of cutting. Okay. Let's get that guy in there. All right. So now this looks like a fuzzy chicken, fuzzy ball. I've got lots of scissors here. I'm not sure which one I'm liking better. This big one is probably too cumbersome. This is probably good for a haircut, but any sharp scissors so you're not snagging. Just go back and trim off that fluff. Well, not all the fluff, but the stuff that's like a halo of frizz. This tends to tickle my nose. It's in the air and then I feel sneezy. So basically, you're giving your little fluff ball a haircut. Even more. Trim it up till it's a look that you prefer. So as I mentioned, you can have it fuller and fluffier. If I keep cutting, I'm going to still get down to some of the fibers that are twisted and a little bit more coarse looking. But I'm going to just leave this one fluffy for now because you've seen how the other one looks, where the fibers are more twisted, which is my gold one. It's still got that yarn look to it a little bit, but it's fluffier than the wool ball. I'm going to leave this somewhere middle of the road for brevity's sake more than anything. So I need to find a new paper clip. Fortunately, they're right within reach. These I got from Amazon. I like these black ones, and I also really like the gold ones that these rose ones were made on that I bought. Both are pretty, and I think both work. I mean, this is kind of a more sparkly effect if you like that look for the season. This could just be for any time of year, so we'll stick with the black, but I think that works for Christmas too. In fact, I've made some with it. Okay, so we have these two original tie-off pieces. I'm going to just, okay, so 2 loops, 1 loop. Take the 1 loop end, and the reason I say that is I would be the type that would make this, have it glued up at the wrong end and not be able to use it on my book. So I'm just being overly clear, I hope, so that you get it right the first time. Okay, so I'm tying that paper clip on there. Got it once, you know, just wrapped around like the beginning of tying a shoe, and now I'm going to knot it. And I dropped it. I'll try again. Super tight. And as tight as you can. These will trim off later. Don't worry about that. But what I would suggest is picking a craft glue. You could use a tacky glue. You can use this Tombow Mono liquid glue. I don't know what all the different names on it mean. I just really like this glue though for lots of things. And then also you could use something like this E6000. Something maybe designed for fabric might be a good selection, but I am out of that currently. So I'm going to just put a little glob of glue on the yarn, a little bit on both sides. I want to have that clip really secure on the yarn ball. Otherwise it kind of flops around. If that doesn't bother you, that's fine too. I just tend to like, I know it's weird, but I like things held more secure. I don't like something moving around a lot. That's just how I'm wired. If you don't mind it, that's fine. So I'm going to take my same card that this is drawing on, but you could of course pick anything, and I'm going to kind of push that So it's touching there and it's getting a good grip. And then I'm just going to push it away slightly so that the glue doesn't stick to the card. You could probably lay it flat too to dry. This is maybe an idea that would work for you. I like to do it this way because then what I like to do is set it like this. So it's getting a little bit of weight. It's getting pushed into the glue a little. If it gets a little smashed, it's okay because we can reshape it later. So I'm just off screen. I'm just leaning that against a jar that's on my counter so that glue can set. And then I might go back later and trim it down. I'll definitely trim off those long pieces that were dangling that we tied it off with. So anyway, just to recap, wool ball or yarn pom-pom, both would be great Christmas stocking stuffer ideas, little gift for a neighbor or friend that you just want to give a little something to, maybe even the librarian. Maybe you'd like to thank your local librarian for their work and bring them a bookmark or two. These pom-pom thing are the wool balls I ordered from a set from Amazon. If you just search tiny craft yarn balls or wool balls for crafting, these will show up. And they're different sizes, so make sure you get a size that you like. They're larger and smaller ones. Sorry for the crinkle, I'm sure that's going to be loud. I'm just going to measure this real quick before I say bye. So to me that looks like maybe 3/4 of an inch. So that would be, if you like that size, look for something about like that. And that'll work really well. If you prefer a little smaller, they have itty bitty ones, they have bigger ones. I think this is a good size, and as you can see, it works well with the paper clip. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives you some good ideas for some little stocking stuffers, or as a way to embellish your December daily if you are doing that, or whatever you're working on this time of year. I kind of feel like when you have a little doodaddy thing, it just personalizes it and makes it feel more like yours, gives it that personality or character. I also have some on my Bible study notebook. So really, wherever you need a bookmark or a book clip, you can make these for. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.